Today's 13th Floor Music Talk interview takes you to Clarksdale, Mississippi, the home of the blues and the home of bluesman Christone Kingfish Ingram. We talk about his new album, 662, the area code for the blues.
I was born here in Clarksdale. Lived here since my birth. Well, there's magic in the music. Must be something in the dirt.
Thanks for doing this. So whereabouts in the world are you? You're on the West Coast now?
Oh yeah, on the West Coast in LA.
In LA. How's things in LA? Is it nice and warm?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, it's hot just like the South, but yeah, it's a whole choice of different scenery for sure.
Gotcha. Well, it's winter here in New Zealand, but it's not too cold. It's kind of temperate at the moment, but
oh wow. I wish I kind of wish I was in the cold.
Very good. So, well, it's interesting because obviously your album 662 is all about location. 662 is the area code for Clarksville, Mississippi, right? Or Clarksdale, I should say.
Right.
And so since we're on tight time schedule here, we'll get right into it. Tell me about everybody knows Clarksdale is like the home of the blues. We all know that because that's a fact. But what's it like to grow up there?
Oh, it was great. It's like, pretty much just blues around 24/7. It was more prevalent like around when I was a child. So I lived right next to a blues band. I went to the Blues Museum Arts and Education program. So yeah, just blues 24/7. Cool.
And now you're at the ripe old age of what? 22?
22, yeah.
Oh man, you're killing me here. And yeah, the album is awesome. So tell me, this is the follow-up to your first album, which was highly acclaimed. You got a lot of rave reviews. So how did that reaction temper or affect what you did for this record?
Well, of course, that was a little, but not too much, but just a little peer pressure of, trying to make this one better. But I kind of figured that we would make it better, being that I wanted to go a little bit harder as far as like musically and personally as far as the storytelling and the songs went.
Right. So when you say you want to take it further musically, does that have to do with different styles of guitar playing, production,
pretty much,
genres of music? What kind of thing are you talking about?
Yeah, pretty much the whole thing. Like I wanted to like showcase like different guitar like styles that I could do, not just necessarily like shredding and and distortion all the time. Like if you listen, like some songs got like acoustic and jazz like tones to it and jazz like different scales to it and stuff like that. So different chord progressions and quiet storm type stuff. Right. So when you say jazz and different, there's a track called "That's All It Takes," which is it's got horns on it, and it's kind of more of a soul than a blues thing, and it's got a jazzy kind of tinge to it as well. Tell me about that track.
I tell my friends I'm happy. I don't let my sadness show. But after all the love we made, it's so hard to let you go.
Oh yeah. That comes from like my Sam Cooke influence. Like, I always wanted to have like 60 soul songs. So that song, I told the producer I was working with, Tom Hambridge. I explained the situation to him, and we both put our heads together, and that song came out.
And how did you get exposed to Sam Cooke? I mean, Sam was a long time ago, man.
Well, not only that, Sam Cooke is actually one of the like hometown heroes in my town, Clarksdale, Mississippi. Right. He was actually born and from there. So so my dad actually exposed me to him like earlier too, with when a change gonna come and whatnot.
Right. Yep. And so one of the songs that I wanted to touch on was "Another Life Goes By," which is much more serious content. And it's kind of a slow, haunting blues musically, but you have some pretty serious lyrics in there. Was that an easy song for you to write? Was it difficult? Why did you choose to make that song?
Where does hate come from? And how can we make it stop? We got to make some changes before somebody else gets shot. We need to pay attention to all the helpless cries. We gotta stop the madness before another life goes by.
Well, I wouldn't say we wrote the song like 2 or 3 years ago, and the fact that the song still kind of resonates with what goes on today, it's kind of sad and tragic once you think about it. A lot of people, when they think about blues music, they think about having a good time and drinking in cotton fields. But the blues originally, started out, as protest music. So everything that we have going on today, as far as like racial equality or whatnot, that's our blues, and that's what we that's what we should talk about, mandatory for sure.
Right. So I'm curious, how you being 22 years old, very different generation than me. I'm an older guy, and I'm curious how you view the way things are going as far as racial equality and Black Lives Matter and all that stuff. Are things changing? Was it more or less of an issue for you than somebody who was maybe 30 years older than you?
Someone who's older than me might try to argue that things have changed and we came a long way, but I can still walk into a place and still get like discriminated against based off my appearance, so things may have changed and and we may have came a long way, but we definitely have far to go, big time.
Yeah, because I mean, let's face it, they had a long way to travel. I mean, people were being lynched not that long ago, and so
right.
it's
like
it's a pretty low bar to set.
With like the civil rights movement, like that wasn't too long ago. You did some all of that.
Yeah. Now, but you do have some fun, good time bluesy songs on the record. One called "Too Young to Remember," which you're kind of talking about the juke joints and stuff in Clarksdale. So.
I heard about those juke joints. Homemade whiskey used to flow. Heard about those juke joints. Homemade whiskey used to flow. Well, I'm too young to remember, but I'm old enough to know.
Are there still pretty cool juke joints to hang out down there?
Oh yeah. You got the authentic juke joint, Red's Blues Club, where I cut my teeth at. That one in Ground Zero Blues Club, the club that's owned by Morgan Freeman. So right. So like Too Young to Remember is like I wasn't there with my forefathers, in the back in the 30s and juke joints, but like when I listen to their music, like listening to Lightning Hopkins, Muddy Waters, just imagining them, takes me there with them. So that's why I can say, I'm too young to remember, but I'm old enough to know.
Yeah. And is there a danger in romanticizing those days, or is it a healthy thing to have as a base for you to work with?
I can say that it's both, because it's a danger, because all those times back then wasn't good times, so you don't really want to put yourself in that mode. But it's really great because it's one of those things, like I'm like a visual guy, like I like to see things as I'm writing them, so it's a great thing for that. Yep.
And I think one of the songs you mentioned, there's a drugstore in Clarksdale Robert Johnson played in or something. I mean, let's face it, anything about Robert Johnson, everybody's like fascinated about. There's just something about the guy.
There's a drugstore on the corner where Robert Johnson used to play. Must be something in the dirt. Make Mr. Johnson moan that way.
Here it is. I live in a town outside of Clarksdale, but still in Cahokia County, called Friarsville, Mississippi. And back in those times, there was a drugstore on the corner that had these benches that he used to come and play. And Muddy Waters actually mentioned in an interview that he actually walked by and saw Robert Johnson playing on those benches, and said he got you said he got like really jealous, like after seeing the crowd that he entertained. So yeah, definitely.
That's far out. All right. So you have also a song called "That's What You Do," which is kind of your advice, it seems, to young upstarts. And so that leads me to ask you, what it's been like for you. You're still a young man, very young, and you've been doing it for a while, though. And I'm sure people tried to make you do this, that, and the other thing, and lead you in certain directions. How is that trip been for you?
You get up early in the morning, stay up all night long. You drive 500 miles just to play a couple songs. That's what you do. Yeah, that's what you do. I said it ain't no shortcut. That's what you do for the blues.
Just try to stay leveled and try to keep it and try to keep your head straight. You try to keep healthy. You try to keep healthy mentally. And that's only like a small piece of what that song talks about. Everyone sees what we do as glamour and stuff like that. So you try to show the other side of touring too as well.
And what is that other side like?
It can be hectic, running through airports, you get done with a show at 1:00, you got to wake back up at 3 just to go to the airport. Like, it's really crazy.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine it is. And I mean, is it difficult to keep your mental and physical health when you're on the road these days?
Well, like, mental health can be cool if you get like the good amount of sleep or whatnot, and not to let things bother you. Physical can be kind of a challenge when, you go into like certain towns and the only thing they have open is a McDonald's. So,
yeah, that's not helping.
not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I mean, you've been referred to as the quote unquote, the future of the blues, which is fairly heavy. Does that weigh on you?
Sometimes it does, especially when the purists get mad when I go too outside the box. When you put that, when you have that moniker put on you, everything that you do has to be bluesy. But what they keep forgetting is our thing is, our goal is to get more young people of my generation into the blues. Right. So I feel like if you can go outside the genre and add some things, as soon as you get them in connected that way, you can sit them down and teach them about the real raw thing of where everything came from.
Right. And you're on Alligator Records now, and they're kind of celebrating their 50th anniversary as well. So what do you get anything from them as far as what you can use for yourself building your career?
Oh yeah, most definitely, because you just one day, even like the end of Too Young to Remember, when I talk about my heroes, some of my heroes was on Alligator. So just being part of that history, Coco Taylor, Hound Dog Taylor, Magic Slim, and the list goes on and on. So just they have a big, they have a big contribution to the history that I have to look to, to write these songs and whatnot. So big time. Cool.
And you mentioned Tom Hambridge, he's your producer. How did the two of you work together when you're in the studio?
Pretty much. First, like when we write, he'll ask me, what's going on, and I'll tell him a story, and he'll give me some advice on stuff to his side, and we'll like mesh together and write songs, and we'll arrange, and then we'll pretty much just get everything together. So by the studio, all the session players know the music we get in, and I want to say 3 takes at the most, we're good on the song. So yeah, for sure.
And when you say we're, you have a band in the studio with you playing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like studio musicians, his bass player Tom McDonald, Kenny Greenberg, and the list goes on. And
right. So, are you doing live gigs?
Yeah, we're actually back to doing live gigs. It's been really fun to finally play back in front of an audience, because the live streams have been cool, but just to see, and feed off the energy of the people, it's just a wonderful thing for sure.
Right. Now the album has a bonus track at the end of it called Rock and Roll, which is, I believe, a tribute to your mother. And you also did you record that in Memphis?
A princess cooking in the kitchen, playing solitaire. She been burning them stacks with the monkey on her back since daddy ain't there. She been swinging that axe and picking up the slack, and it ain't fair. So I could sell my soul to rock and roll. So I could sell my soul to rock and roll.
Oh yeah, I did. I recorded at the Royal Studios, Willie Mitchell, and Boo Mitchell, famous studio of Al Green, O.V. Wright, and so what.
Yep.
And the song was given to us by Ashley Ray and Sean McConnell, and we kind of just took it and just revised some lyrics and recorded that Boo spot, and it became a very beautiful song for my mother, Big Side.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that you passed away, but it's yes, it's a great song and it kind of autobiographical. And I think you're singing about selling your soul to rock and roll. So, does it feel like
a metaphor? That's a metaphor.
But don't do it, man. Don't do it. Well, there's a lot of soul selling down in Clarksdale, or it's rumored has been.
Oh yeah, most definitely. A rumor and innuendo.
You're not too far from the crossroads, so there you go. Have you been there to the?
I haven't been to sell anything, but
no.
Right. But I've driven past it quite a few times.
Right. Well, it's pretty wild, and so hopefully things are going well with the record release, and you're getting back on the road and playing and touring, and it'd be nice for you to come down to New Zealand. We like the blues down here as well.
Hey, I wouldn't mind coming to New Zealand. I wouldn't mind big time.
All right. Well, we'll see what we can do. In the meantime, our time is up. You've got another thing to do. So thank you for taking time to talk to me. I really appreciate it. Loving the record. Good luck with everything.
No problem. Thank you so much, man. Like that blazer too. Peace.
Oh. Righto. Bye-bye.